I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading till I felt that sense was breaking through. And when they all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating, till I felt my mind was going numb. And then I heard them lift a box and creak across my soul with those same boots of lead again. Then space began to toll, as if the heavens were a bell and being were an ear, and I and silence some strange race wrecked, solitary here. Just then, a plank in reason broke, and I fell down and hit a world at every plunge, and finished knowing then.
International students studying in the United States committed suicide. Tang Xiaolian, a graduate of one of the top 2 universities in China, committed suicide on the Golden Gate Bridge last month. This November, a 20-year-old Chinese student used toxic chemicals to take his own life. These were not only tragedies for their family, friends, and community of the deceased, but also for the nearly 350,000 international Chinese students in the US.
有时候也会就是比较羡慕一些，比如说羡慕一些就是说白人啊，就会觉得啊，他们比我们放得开很多，然后真的很快乐在生活，然后呢也能笑很大声，就也能去 party， 能玩很嗨。医生他们帮你分配，肯定一般都是美国人。我用英语表述出来的事情，可能和我中文想表述出来的东西是不一样的。所以呢，有时候我们之间就会形成一种，我表述出来，但他不一定理解，或者就是我想表述，可是我用英文真的无法就是真正全述、很全面的去诠释。
Certain expectations on Chinese people, like the certain cultural stereotypes. Say people might think, oh, Chinese people are good at math, or like Chinese people are all nerdies. Those kind of cultural stereotype could put a lot of pressure on Chinese students.
就是真的有时候就是会自我厌恶，就是会觉得自己哪里都做不好，然后就是会想做更好。
Chinese students tend to experience increased pressure, both from their families and themselves. While therapy is advocated in America, seeking counseling to deal with the internal and external pressure isn't widely accepted in China.
Peer support groups are very important, where people can go and open up, not necessarily start a discussion with mental health problems, but common challenges that every student faces. And they'll realize very soon that they are not alone. Chinese students have all these stressors magnified. What they're telling us is they have a lot of pressure from the family to do well. They also have pressure from themselves to do well.
Does not prevent a relapse, but it may make the prospect of relapse, and even relapse itself, easier to tolerate. The question is not so much of finding great meaning and deciding your depression has been very meaningful. It's of seeking that meaning and thinking when it comes again, this will be hellish, but I will learn something from it. I had learned in my own depression how big an emotion can be, how it can be more real than facts. And I have found that experience has allowed me to experience positive emotion in a more intense and more focused way. The opposite of depression is not happiness, but vitality. And these days, my life is vital, even on the days when I'm sad. I felt that funeral in my brain, and I sat next to the Colossus at the edge of the world. And I have discovered something inside of myself that I would have to call a soul, that I had never formulated until that day 20 years ago when hell came to pay me a surprise visit.
Life is beautiful. Sometimes it's messy, and it's always unpredictable. But it will all be okay when you have your support system to help you through it. I hope that if your burden gets too heavy, you'll ask for a hand too.